My story. In 2004, I saw my first ever UFC. I was sitting in Bristol in England, and I was absolutely fascinated by it. I didn't really know what I was watching or what they were doing, but I was fascinated with what to me does look like a game of human chess. At the time, I worked in the corporate world, and I did until just a few years ago when I decided to turn my passions into my profession and became a personal trainer. At the time, I started training a friend of mine, Keita, who is an MMA fighter, and through that process, I just had the desire to do as well by her as I possibly could. So I did a load of research, a load of study, and I ended up joining the Phil Daru mentorship program. Phil is one of the greatest sport strength and conditioning coaches in the world. I mean, he specializes in combat sports, but works with a lot of other sports as well. He's coached many UFC world champions, Edson Barbosa, Junior Dos Santos, Joanna Jacek, Dustin Poirier. He was the ATT American Top Team head coach in Florida. Multiple years, he's won the top strength and conditioning combat sports coach in the world. So really, really well credentialed, obviously. Through that program, I learned how to train fighters and jiu-jitsu practitioners specifically. But using those same protocols, I have gone on to train people from other sports as well. Swimming, cricket, running, netball. So it's been great. I personally have been doing jiu-jitsu now for about 2.5 years. Took me a while to start after seeing in 2004, but when I got back to Australia, I got run over by a car and the doctor wouldn't let me do it because my neck was messed up. But anyway, started doing it 2.5 years ago. So I'm still an absolute baby when it comes to jiu-jitsu itself. But like most jiu-jitsu people, it's kind of overtaken my life. One, because of the technical aspect of the sport that I'm absolutely fascinated with, but also because of the friendships and the community involved in the sport as well, which anyone that does jiu-jitsu knows what I'm talking about. I've always been, super fascinated with what the body can achieve from a performance standpoint, how well the body can perform. And now I'm using my knowledge and experience to help jiu-jitsu people and MMA fighters win more, become stronger, and reduce their risk of injuries. One of the cool things that I've loved about it since focusing on jiu-jitsu specifically is the added extra connections that I now have in the community that I've got from training people from all over the place, making connections in different clubs in different cities in different countries. So it's added to what was already an amazing, community for me. But it has been really, really cool. Getting the most out of the human body and performance is something that fascinates me and always has. And jiu-jitsu is something that fascinates me as well. So to be able to put these two things together is a dream come true. And, I know how much of our hearts and our souls go into the sport of jiu-jitsu and or MMA if that's your thing. And so being able to help people get better at something that they put so much of their effort into is it's super fun. It's super rewarding and something I'm really, really loving doing. And anyway, I guess that's my story. So if you're interested in increasing your strength for jiu-jitsu or decreasing your risk of injuries, or if you're an MMA fighter and you just want to win more, then shoot me a message.